Once again, my Diabella statue has fallen down. I just like this dust mist light shining effect here that you can see. It's quite nice. Let's go back to piloting our character. Diabella necklaces all over the place. This broom. Oh, we'll play house again. We're gonna try putting this on a different shelf this time. And then you guys are gonna get to experience some odd philosophy talk. Normally not a thing that occurs, but this time will be a thing that occurs because I was talking to a friend of mine about video games and when you're playing a team-based game. I'm gonna try to find some way to make it. Oh, I was supposed to go to sleep, wasn't I? Damn it. Well, this will be a good way to eat up that time. I'm going to do some minor vendoring before we go on to our next objective. In a video game, my friend said, hey, it is... I'm like, he said something along the lines of, I just closed the conversation. Like, I closed out of Skype where this convo was. He said something along the lines of, I think because of League of Legends, I have been sort of... He's become sort of over the useless person on the team. Whereas his friends that he's playing with are like, oh my gosh, that fifth person that we had...
So you like to go feeling around people's pockets looking for valuables, huh?
You keep that to yourself.
Let's not hang around then.
Okay. Sleeping. It's 7 a.m.? Did I already do the sleeping part? Whatever, we're gonna do this for an hour. Make it 8:09. That he and his 3 friends were like, oh my gosh, this fifth person is so terrible, and he's just like, what can you do? Because he plays League of Legends and like many games, but possibly more so pronounced in League of Legends because it is a free-to-play game, there are a lot of people that I would describe as bad. Because it's a free game. There's no barrier to entry. And he was like, well, someone that sucked on our team. What can you do? And they all, the other guys, in his words, he described, they sort of were like, oh man, this person did this, this person did this, and what?
Got something I'm supposed to deliver.
Courier?
Hands only.
Give it to me through the ground, courier.
I've got a letter and a lot of gold. Something about it being your, inheritance. Oh, and sorry for your loss. I have a letter here for you. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Letter from Feralda? Trevis Nilren. Oh. Feralda. Oh my gosh. When I killed that other girl. But Feralda sent me a letter that says, I know you killed her, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. In fact, I wanted to thank you, she will not be missed. Holy shit. I think that's because I killed that other teacher, the restoration one. Oh my gosh. See, this is why originally I was like, you know, I'll just turn Skyrim on and then off camera I'll do all my vendoring and then I'll come back and I'll just pick it up from there. And this is expressly, stuff like this is why I did not do that. That is freaking Spooky.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Kind of a messy metal anyway.
Everyone's... Take a look.
Now, as he's achieved this sort of, like, peace with quote-unquote bad players, which is not necessarily to mean that they're unskilled players. Maybe they're just on a different skill level, or he just doesn't agree with the philosophies of the way they play their game, which is going to be what leads me to the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Because I said, hey man, I've had a similar experience, or not a similar, but I've had an experience with the quote-unquote bad player. He sells these now? Take them. Oh my god, damnation! This is a sword of damnation. Oh, that's a thing. Reverend steel mace. How many arrows? 31 of those, 24 of those. I'll sell these 3 elven ones now. And there's a little bit of explanation I need to go into here.
Crit armor you need or a new
So he's like, hey, what can you do
See me.
about the bad player, quote-unquote, on the team?
Working in
And
is great.
yeah, you know what, I've got a little bit of that going these days myself, because when you play enough games, you realize, what can you do? It's luck of the draw. But sometimes, maybe you're the bad, and you don't realize it. Here's the example I want to give. I was playing a game of Heroes of the Storm. It's a MOBA made by Blizzard Entertainment.
Wait, I know you.
And the important things to know about MOBA games is a 5-on-5 team-based game where you control characters on a map from a top-down
Got
perspective,
something for just about everybody in here.
and
Give a holler if you have any questions.
you fight against the enemy to claim different objectives on the map. After a certain amount of time passes, you eventually claim objectives and destroy parts of the enemy's
Have a
base.
look around. I buy and sell just about anything.
And eventually you're able to destroy like the main part of their base, which is what actually triggers the win. So all these objectives that you capture contribute to your ability to do damage to the base, and then after you do enough damage to the base, you destroy the core or the nexus or whichever their main thing is, and then you win the game.
Good. All my... Take a look.
So what had happened here, and I can put this in kind of a Skyrim-y perspective for you as well, was playing a game, and one of the allies on our team, the 5th person, was not in the Skype call, not with me and my friends over the voice chat. They were just a person in the game. But they happened to be playing a character that I really like, and they happened to be playing a character that I'm good at. And I was like, oh hey, they're playing Sylvanas. I'm going to follow that character around the whole game, because I like that character, and I know that when I'm playing that character, if I have somebody, in my case, a Tassadar, if I'm Tassadar, I'm going to follow Sylvanas around, because when I play Sylvanas, I would love to have a Tassadar following me around all game. That would be really awesome. So that's what I did. I said to my friends, and I quote, I'm going to staple myself to Sylvie's ass all game. Sylvie being the way that I like to refer to Sylvanas. It's kind of like a fun name that I like to refer to her by. Let's get rid of some of these gold hoo-has. Actually, let's see. Those are my clothes. Get rid of these college boots I forgot to get rid of. Then we need to start getting rid of these rings and things. So let's chuck out these sapphire necklaces. They're expensive. And they're taking up space. There we go. Get rid of all 3 of them.
Do come again.
The important things that you need to know here are the particular map that we were playing on, Battlefield of Eternity. You fight 2 NPC monsters in the middle of the map. And whichever team successfully kills the enemy's monster will then be able to have their allied monster help them destroy the enemy base after that happens. Assist people of Hafenjar. I think I figured out a way to do this. We're going to go to another Hafenjar town that isn't directly Solitude and see if there's anything to do there. So this is Solitude here. And then maybe over... Where is there another town at? Let's go to this little town and see if there's anything going on in it. Because I think this is also the same area of the world. So once you capture the middle objective and you get your NPC monster to help you, you usually walk with the NPC monster and go attack the enemy base. That's the thing, that's the objective here. The character that I was following around, Sylvanas, has a unique ability in that when she shoots at an enemy defensive structure, she paralyzes it so that it cannot shoot back, which makes it very easy for her to destroy buildings, especially when she has someone backing her up. Tassadar, the character that I was playing, has the ability to put a shield on an ally that protects them from damage. When played correctly on both the shield giver and the shield recipient's side, it is possible to do a lot of damage to the enemy while taking very little in return. Sylvanas and Tassadar can be a good combination. Tassadar and anyone can be a good combination if both players are working in sync with each other. And since I was very, very familiar with the way that Sylvanas plays, it was easy for me to know when to shield her and when to do other things to help her.
Something different about you, I can tell. Hope you ain't here to cause trouble.
Need something?
Until next time.
Anything going on?
Smell that fresh air? Truly, this is a good place to play a song.
I don't see anyone in. Maybe you.
Don't start any trouble, and I think we'll get along just fine.
Alright. Guy. What I had done during that game is I followed Sylvanas around, and sometimes she took me to a place that I did not agree with going. But I followed her anyway, because I knew that by myself I was not going to get anything done with a Tassadar. However, the Sylvanas, with my support, could do things way more than she would be able to do otherwise. She being the character, being female, is the way I'm referring to it.
Wandering around, isn't it?
And there was one time when we went up to capture a side objective that wasn't the main one, while the main one was active. Usually you don't want to do that, but I decided that I was going to follow Sylvanas around, and it turned out that Sylvanas made a good decision. Man, everyone's asleep here. It doesn't seem like there's anything going on. Is there any place else that's Hoffningjar? This is Morthal over here. Maybe outside. At the docks or something. Yeah, let's check those out next. We went up and captured a tertiary objective, the siege camp for anyone that plays Heroes, and then we went down to the main objective afterwards, and my teammates were like, oh, look at that, Sylvanas is up there, not even helping out. Meanwhile, I'm following Sylvanas around the whole time to help her. And it turned out that worked out great, because while the enemy was at the main objective, no one was defending from the results of that secondary objective that we captured. Great. That worked out fine. There's a little guy out here sweeping and there's no other people. Okay, well let's head to this way. Or we have to go this way around and up the side? How do we get back up that way? Oh, looks like the road goes left. Actually, no, we're going to go down to the docks. There was another moment where we were at the main objective, but we were not directly helping with it. We were not actively engaging with it. Like I said, you have to kill an NPC monster. We were not helping kill that monster. Instead, we were on the enemy's side of the map, keeping them away from the objective. We managed to kill 2 people out of the 5 enemy team.
The water looks so tranquil and comforting.
We managed to kill 2 out of 5 people on the enemy team before me and Sylvanas had to fall back because it got too dangerous for us. By then, the 3 people that we had working on our objective had a substantial lead over their team who hadn't gotten to make any progress on that objective at all. In which case, one of my teammates said something along the lines of, oh, well, yep, Sylvanas not helping in the fight again. She's never anywhere where we need her to be. Now, they didn't call me out, despite the fact that I wasn't ever there either, because I was following Sylvanas around.
Looking to hire a boat?
No. I don't think there's anyone on this ship. I think this was that pirate ship. And then, after we secured that objective, which was made possible by what me and Sylvanas did... Now, this was that pirate ship. Which was made possible by what Sylvanas and I did. Usually afterwards, when you get that monster from capturing the main objective, you walk with it to destroy enemy buildings. But in this case, we didn't do that at all. Sylvanas went down to the opposite side of the map, away from it, to attack the enemy buildings in a different area. And attacking enemy buildings in a different area...
Hail, companion.
What is this place?
This is the East Empire Company's central warehouse. All of their shipments go through here. Unfortunately, thanks to some problems they've been having, it hasn't seen much use lately. Either way, it's off limits to you.
What kind of problems are they having?
How should I know? I don't work for them. If you want to help, I suppose you could head to Windhelm and talk to Orthus and Dario. He's in charge over there.
Windhelm. Okay, well, I guess we'll go back to Windhelm now. Even though this is Solitude, but it looks like the problems start in Windhelm. Oh, Windhelm is down here. And they're like, where's Sylvanas at? Why isn't she pushing with us? Meanwhile, remember what I said earlier about she has the ability to paralyze enemy fortifications so that they cannot fire back. With the enemy team up defending against the other 3 guys on our team, plus our NPC monster that they brought with us from us claiming the center objective, Sylvanas and I were able to run down the bottom part of the map uncontested. And we killed 2 keeps in the process. 2. It goes 1 keep, a 2nd keep, and then you're able to damage the main core of the base. We cleared out that whole section of the map by ourselves because we were completely uncontested for that amount of time, because the enemy really committed to defending from the NPC monster and the other allies that we had up there. And then, after that, me and Sylvanas wandered around the map some more, and we took another couple objectives, like secondary objectives, not main objectives. And then when the main objective came up again, we did the same thing that we did before. Sylvanas walked over to the enemy side and kept them from being able to get to their half of the objective, while our team did whatever they wanted with ours. And they're like, this Sylvanas is not freaking helping at all. And at the end of the game, one of my friends was like, man, that Sylvanas was useless. She was never anywhere we needed her to be. And at that point, I had to energetically correct my friend and be like, actually, I think Sylvanas was one of the primary reasons for us winning that game. I guess we have to wait around out here for a while because it's sleeping time in there. Argonian assemblage, master. Well, we probably can't be in there at this time of day, so... Sophia, we're just going to wait until they open. It's 9. It's like 12 hours. I guess we're going to go sleep for a minute. And I had to energetically and enthusiastically correct and be like, you know, actually, I think part of the main reason we won that is because Sylvanas and I were running around the map, capturing objectives and zoning away the enemies so you guys could basically do whatever you wanted the entire time. And Sylvanas did a fantastic job. Like, she did amazing. And I'm really glad that I followed her around for the whole game. And I think that's, like, not only did we win, we won by a lot. It wasn't a case of, well, we won, you know, like, we barely won because Sylvanas was never in the right place with us. No, we won that game by a landslide. Like, oh my gosh, we crushed them. It was delicious. I was super happy. And, you know, I had this moment of, I think maybe from that Sylvanas' point of view, we were bad. Because that Sylvanas was operating on a level that I could not comprehend. The places that Sylvanas led me in that game were places that I didn't think we should go. And every single time we went there, it turned out that it was a great idea to go where she went. Like, everywhere that Sylvanas led me on the map led to success. I am really glad that I followed her all game long. The only times that I left Sylvanas was when she was dead for some reason, which only happened a few times in that entire game. She and I had the least deaths on the entire team by a lot. wish this Diabella statue would stop falling through the floor. That would be fantastic. 9. This is 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They probably haven't restocked on money at the shop, but we'll check on our way out there. Sylvanas led me to a lot of places in that game. And I just couldn't comprehend why we were going at the times that we were going, because I always felt like I should be somewhere else. Especially with my allies' insistence on, oh, we gotta go to the objective, we gotta go to the objective. Whoop, there she is, not being at the objective. And every time we went somewhere, it was wildly successful. So I had this thought recently, when my friend brought up, you know, his experience with a League of Legends game that he'd had recently, is that maybe sometimes we're the bad. And the person that we view as the bad is actually on a level so far above us that we can't fully understand what they're doing. And since we can't understand what they're doing, we assume it's incorrect what they're doing. Whereas that Sylvanas probably looked at our team and was like, wow, everyone here except Tassadar sucks. I'm glad I could be that Tassadar in that game. And I'm really glad I followed that Sylvanas around. The Sylvanas, by the way, who was the one who was not in the voice chat.
This walking is giving me a front wedgie.
Sylvanas was not in the voice chat with us. I could have followed one of my friends that was in the voice chat
Didn't I?
and been able to communicate with them all game long. But instead, I chose to follow a player that I could not communicate with at all unless I decided to type.
Find what you're looking for.
And I usually have
If
the in-game
good
chat
to
turned
see
off,
you.
so I can't type
odds and ends,
to anyone
that
or
sort of
read what they
thing.
type anyway. But during that game, I actually went into my settings and I turned the in-game chat back on to type and say, hey, Sylvanas, you are doing a fantastic job. And pushed a bunch of little heart shapes. And then I turned the chat back off again because it's usually a bad idea to have it on. So if they ever said anything back to me, I have no idea. It's restocked on gold, so we can sell a couple things again. Let's continue clearing out the rings. There we go. I have some gold things to clear out up here. This was the silver we were clearing out. All these things are expensive. Let's sell one of the least expensive ones, so we're gonna lose money on it. Okay.
Do come again.
Now we'll go out back down to that downstairs thing. So that is a little philosophical tangent. Is that maybe sometimes the person that you think is the bad player is actually just so much better than you that you can't comprehend it. Because the more I think about that game that I played, that Sylvanas, I did not understand why she went where she did during the game. But looking at it after the game, I'm like, she made a lot of really intelligent decisions that had repercussions that reached further into the future than me and my allies could see in the moment. That Sylvanas was better than all four of us. And it's just because, hey, I know what Sylvanas does, and I know how that character works. I know that character will succeed dramatically if given some backup. So I went and backed her up, and good things happened.
I know this place looks horrible. Please, don't hold it against the company.
Why is it so run down?
Sad, isn't it? We can't afford to keep the place running since these attacks started. Pirates, you see. Raiding all along the coast, from Hammerfell to Vardenfell. Only the Shatter Shields appear safe.
Who are the Shatter Shields?
A very powerful family in Windhelm. They run a private shipping operation and would love to have the docks to themselves. Wouldn't surprise me if they were in league with the pirates somehow.
You have any proof?
Not yet, no. But perhaps an intrepid person such as yourself could help with that? They have a dark elf who oversees their operations, Suveris Atherin. She's meticulous to a fault, and keeps a logbook with every transaction she makes. If it were to somehow end up in my hands, I wouldn't argue.
What else can you tell me about the pirates?
They call themselves the Bloodhawkers. They've been around as long as I can remember, but only recently focused on our ships. A dastardly group. But they're more than simple brigands. Shrewd, clever, not to be trifled with.
So, I take it that's why you don't fight back?
Our own security forces are limited, and all the mercenaries are tied up in this ridiculous war. We don't even know their base of operations, and attacking single ships won't really solve the problem.
Okay.
All right then.
I guess we are going to investigate this. So thank you for listening to me ramble on in as generic terms as I could about video games and philosophy of gameplay and things like that. I generally don't like to get into opinion pieces and things like that, but it gave me an excuse to talk about that Sylvanas and how I did really well in that game. I will link it as reference if I ever post that game to the internet, which I might. Now that I went back into my match history and found it and found the replay, I might record it and watch it through. Because I'm doing it all from memory, you know. So there might be some things that are a little bit different from what I remember versus what actually happened, because, you know, those memories aren't perfect. What are we looking for here? We said... Horizon the East is what we're tracking. Okay, so we're going to try to steal a workbook. Oh, it's back out here. Alright, well, I'm going to put us at where we need to maybe go. And then we'll go into another video. But thank you for listening to my ramblings. I wanted to put a little bit more content in these. Ever since it was so dry for having, what's it called? Having to dismantle the college was such a dry set of videos, because all it was sneaking and me being slow because of being over encumbered and things like that. Clan Shatter Shield office in the next video, folks.